lounging, son.
Welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name is Ryan, and today I'm going to be going through another classic facsimile comic from DC Comics. I'm going through Flash 105. But before I get into it, I just want to remind everybody, if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button and check out all the dope content on the channel. We go through old comics like this, reprints or the originals, and then hardcovers, interviews, indie creator spotlights, all that good stuff. So hit that subscribe button. And now let's get into Flash 105. So Flash has long been one of my favorite characters. Wally West's first comic book I ever read was one of his Flash comics. But the whole Flash mythos, the whole Speedster family of characters at DC has always been something that's very near and dear to me. So once they started doing these facsimiles, I was super stoked to find out that they were going to start doing not just quote unquote, I don't even want to say key issues, but the big name comics like Detective 27, Action 1, right? Batman 1, Superman 1. I love that they decided to do these as well, because these are the ones that don't often get reprinted. So, and it's a time in comic books that it's so cool to look back on. I love the way that they used to have dialogue on the cover, a catch, you get the title down there in the box. I love the fact that there's a lot of yellow, which you don't see in covers anymore. And I've noticed going back and reading old comic books, especially these facsimiles, there's a lot of yellow on the cover. Something that's important to note is they don't even credit the creators in these comics, which is very odd. You don't get the writer credit. You don't get the artist credit. I think that would be the one thing I would say, maybe they could include in these facsimiles, considering that, the indicia is not the same. The publisher, the vice president, editor, all that stuff's not the same either. So as simple as just adding writer, artist, inker, all that stuff would, to me go a long way, because I think it would definitely educate some of the younger readers. I can even include myself. I wasn't alive when these came out, but the people that are picking these up now that weren't alive when they came out, then they can start to learn their history about who's actually who were the creators creating these awesome stories that have such an important place in the history of comic books. John Broome is the writer of this. Carmine Infantino and Joe Giella on inks. Fun story. You got this Conqueror from 8 Million B.C. We have got a cold open. Barry's got this weird looking guy that's shooting this blaster at him, and then we go back into the past, and we kind of learn how this guy came about. This archaeologist is investigating this weird spot that for some reason it comes in his mind and gets this impulse that he has to dig under. And when he gets under there, he finds this what looks like the remains of an underground city, and we got this guy in this capsule, and he immediately starts communicating with this guy and convinces him to let him out. And we see that he has the power to control people, and he's been trapped there for, as he says, eons, right? Then we see that it's been 8 million years. His metallic civilization was destroyed by a comet, and he alone, Katmos, the supreme ruler of the planet. And now he's going to try to rule civilization. And then we come back to these scenes with, Barry talking to Iris, who will eventually become his wife. These are there's a certain charm when you go back and you read these comic books that they always kind of give me that warm feeling. It's cool to see how far comics have come, but also cool to see how different the Silver Age stuff was as opposed to the prior stuff in the Golden Age, right? These origins were very scientific bent. We get a little quick recap of Barry's origin, how he became the Flash, told brilliantly in just a page and a half. And that's something else that, there's two stories in here. So obviously you see Mirror Masters on the front. But this is also technically the first issue of the Barry Allen run post his first appearance in Showcase 4. Because the original Flash, Jay Garrick, ran from Flash Comics 1 all the way to 104 before it ceased publication, before it was eventually brought back under the brilliant editorship of Julius Schwartz. So, again, we get this cool little, I don't necessarily want to call it battle, but, this square off with this guy that's, from 8 million years ago. We get to see, Barry sitting up in his office, and he hears. So what does he do? He pops out his ring. We get to see, he explains the science behind that. And he's off to stop Katmos and see what's going on I love these two. Amazing speeds, flash facts. Super fun to see these old ads. What's crazy too is right as Barry comes, he's immediately trapped in the same cylinder. And this is where we get the whole backstory on Catmos. And as most villains of the day would do, they kind of spill their whole plan. They spill their whole, to anybody that'll listen. And Barry's obviously trapped. He's got no choice. He's got to listen to this stuff. And it's kind of interesting too, because like he explains how human beings at this moment in time, right, are carbon based. They were iron based back then, and that's why they have this like metallic sheen to them. So kind of cool. I would be interested to see if anybody ever wanted to kind of go back and explore this character more. I feel like you could do some cool stuff with it. And, so many creators have done that where they take like these hokey, corny villains of the past and they reimagine them. Like I said, these are very short stories. There's only 12 pages. And Barry finds a way to escape from this cylinder. And he makes quick work of Catmos and knocks him out. And I love this final thing. Right here, extra, Flash captures prehistoric thief. And Iris saying, like, aren't you going to buy a copy? That's my exclusive interview with the Flash. And he's like, no, I'm just interested in a leisurely dinner. So, cool little ending there. Again, we get some more added material. This, like, Birds in Flight article. We get this awesome ad for Superman versus Titano, the super ape. I love this. Get solar system speed. So, a lot of, like, cool like educational things that they include with these like solar system speeds or the flash facts or the other things that they were showing, the birds, nature wonderland. Interesting to see like, or it would be interesting to add if I could talk to somebody that was in charge of doing this stuff, like why the added material, because I don't I definitely don't remember seeing it when I was a kid. So like, when did it start, when did it stop? I'd be curious to ask. And then we open up another cold opening. We see this giant moth, this giant mosquito coming right at Barry in the mirror, the Master of Mirrors. And this is where we're introduced to one of my favorite Flash villains in the Rogues Gallery, Mirror Master, aka Sam Scudder. So we're going to get his, we see how he's coming and he basically robs a bank. And how does he do it? By using the power of the mirror. And then we see, we get a little backstory on how the whole mirror thing came about, how he was able to create it, scientific origin again. It was an accident with this chemical that went on the mirror, and that's how he learned how to use the power of mirror to commit his crimes. And so he makes this this reflection basically of the bank manager. What's crazy too is, he goes past Barry, and Barry immediately notices something weird. The ring's on his wrong hand. So he goes to follow him. And as he races through, as he's chasing him, we see that this guy's moving faster. Why is he able to move that fast? Because he's not real, right? And so Flash comes, goes to the Mirror Master's headquarters, darts straight into this room of mirrors, and he tries to figure out the best way to go after him. And what does he do? He paints all the mirrors until he finds the correct one. All the while, Mirror Master in his image control room is watching this all play out. And we get to see the Flash take down this mosquito thing. The power of speed, getting to see him do all his normal speed tricks, running into this Minotaur. And so just as he figures out to throw the room in darkness, now there's nowhere for the reflection, this mirror creature to be. And he knows exactly where to go. Makes quick work of Mirror Master, but doesn't even really interact with him, which is kind of funny and ironic. But he makes quick work of him, takes him to jail, and gets right back to a long delayed luncheon with Iris Allen. But super fun. I love looking back at these. As I was reading it, kind of like made me think like, would this work in the modern day? Would it work to have, in a DC comic or Marvel comic where it's not a full 20-page story, short bursts, no pun intended, of 12-page stories? I think it'd be interesting to see if they started maybe even just going back to doing one and done stories. I'd be on board for that. But either way, it's always fun looking back at these classic facsimiles. We're living in a day where they're starting to become more prevalent. DC and Marvel are doing a great job. Some other publishers have been getting in the mix too. But I highly recommend picking them up. And make sure you like, follow, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you're notified every time a new video drops. And on that note, I'm out.